Co-op campaign! Streets of Rage. I remember back when I had my Sega Genesis. I didn't really have a lot of games. It was more of a money situation. But I did have one cartridge that stuck out from the rest. BAM! The 6-pack! It was, to my knowledge, the first compilation cartridge, and it featured some friggin' pretty cool games. I'm gonna assume they were the Sega like, greatest hits line or something. The 6 games that were on the cart were Sonic the Hedgehog, which I played a lot, Columns, which my mom played a lot, Super Hang-On, which I don't really recall playing a lot at all, Revenge of Shinobi, I think I played once, but the 2 games I always was playing was Golden Axe and Streets of Rage. Now don't get me wrong, the other games were fun, but just being able to play with my friends, working together to reach a common goal, I mean, that still is, to me, the most fun part of gaming. And the reason I wanted to make this series. But enough about the cart. Let's get into the game! This city was once a happy, peaceful place, until one day a powerful secret criminal organization took over. This vicious syndicate soon had control of the government and even the police force. The city has become a center of violence and crime where no one is safe. Amid this turmoil, a group of determined young police officers have sworn to clean up the city. Among them are Adam Hunter, Axel Stone, and Blaze Fielding. They are willing to risk anything, even their lives, on the Streets of Rage. Well, this is Adam Hunter, age 23. Blaze Fielding, age 21. And badass Axel Stone, age 22. Alright,
Butt sex!
Yes, butt sex. We finished the game, so, let's get this shit going! Alright. So, alright, the controls. For you, were they easy for you to pick up and remember? Because, like, I've played the game before, so I kind of... Well, I guess when we first started, I did push the wrong button and used a special move, but, for you, how did you think the controls were? Did you find them easy or whatever?
Well, right off the bat, it was pretty easy. I mean, if you ever played any kind of fighting game before, it wasn't that different.
Yeah, I mean, I found that I remember them from when I was a kid, so it wasn't really hard for me to pick them up. But, like, you think if someone from this day and age of gaming, like the Halo kids, if they were to pick up the controller, do you think it would be pretty easy for them to figure it out?
To be honest, probably not. Because you look down, and you're like, what the hell? There's not 7 buttons. So I think simplicity of it would actually make it confusing.
How do I strafe?
Right? But yeah, I think for new gamers, it might be a little awkward. On top of it being such an older style, older graphic game on top of that. But I think for anybody, it's pretty average.
Yeah, I would say that. I'd almost say that it would be easy for them because they're used to having 15 frickin' buttons in their hands, so they're just like, all I have to do is pound this one? Well, and actually, that might be good for the new gamers, because that's...
Final Fantasy 13!
Yeah. B, 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 B. Do you think you would have played this game by yourself all the way to the end? And by that, meaning, if you already had the game going, and you had the controller in your hand, do you think you could have played it all the way to the end and still enjoyed it all the way to the end if you didn't have a second person playing with you?
Probably not. With games like this, having a co-op, I mean, I was hitting with bats. We were laughing at how funny things were, and I think that whole element being there makes it what it is.
I'd agree, yeah. I mean, I loved this game, and I played it a lot as a kid. Even then, though, I couldn't just be like, man, I'm bored, just had supper, turn on Streets of Rage, and just play it. I couldn't do that, because really, when you get down to it, the game is pretty monotonous. I think that's the word I'm looking for, where it's the same Final Fantasy 13. You move to the next screen, you hit the same button over and over. Whoa, the enemies are dead. Move on. Hey, there's some different colored enemies.
Right?
Like
Look at the underwear he's wearing this time.
Yeah, man, that guy's hair is blue. But I would agree. I don't think there might be some people. I believe Gregor actually. I believe he told me at one point he'd actually did that. He'd actually played through the game by himself, and I was like, well, did you have fun with it? And he's just like, hell no, I couldn't. I just needed something to do.
Right.
Friendly fire. Was there any? Yeah, I know. And if so, did it make the game any less enjoyable?
Man, the friendly fire probably made 70% of the fun in that game.
I have to agree.
I think if you watch the video right here and there, every like 10 seconds, I was hitting Jace with a bat or glass or a knife or something.
Yeah, I would have to say, even though it was a little bit of a problem, that's what made it fun. Just like swinging the shit around and just smashed me in the face. It's like, I missed you. God damn it!
Yeah, it brings the element where you're sitting in your room and you're with your friend and you're laughing about it, and you can't compare that to anything. It's such a good feeling.
Yeah, and I don't want to go into a rant about online games, but they've gotten better now where you have your headset and you can laugh about it. But back when like online first got started and stuff, you were just playing the game in silence in your room, and you couldn't really you weren't conversing with the people you were playing with, and to me it didn't feel the same. I mean, you had text chat, but text chat really can't convey LOLing in real life.
Oh yeah. And you're like, you jump in up and down and you hit your friend, and man, that was hilarious, and that's fun.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy that. I'd have to agree that as much as it wasn't an annoyance, it was half the fucking fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think that the game should have been longer, or shorter, or was it just the right length before it started to get, like, tedious, where you just kind of like, okay, this guy's purple, he's a little bit stronger, have to hit him a couple more times with the B button.
Right. Well, actually, I thought the game was perfect. You know, it took us about an hour to beat, and I didn't feel stressed, it didn't feel tedious, it was really fun.
Actually, it took us longer than an hour.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's how fun it was. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I mean, the game's really fun. I really enjoyed it, and I think it was the perfect length, because any longer and it would have really gotten... Because, like, we'd basically fought in every color scheme in the world of the enemies.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a couple enemies we'll talk about at the end that I want to save for the last final thoughts, but we'll bring it back to the enemies afterwards.
Alright.
Do you think that if someone was just sitting around and they're like, hey, you want to play Streets of Rage? And you've already played it with me. Do you think you would play it again? Like, just be able just to... Do you think it would be just as fun playing through with another person a second time at some other point?
Yeah.
Well, that's a very simple answer. Yeah. I mean,
it's so simple and fun. It's like an hour long. Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. I mean, it's not taking out your 5 hours of your day. And
yeah.
and to be honest, I've played this game probably to the end 7 or 8 times throughout my life. But I've probably played the game 50 times. It's just I never really get to the end. Either my person really blows and sucks up all the continues, or I get smashed in the face and die all the time by them and their bats.
Who would do that?
But yeah, I think, I would say I would probably do it again. Hell, come on, drive over, let's do it again.
Alright.
Would you recommend this game to someone else just so you could play it with someone else, like just have a chance to play it again with a new person?
That's a difficult question. only because I probably wouldn't find myself going out of my way to play it. But with the earlier question where if someone was playing it, I would dive right in. But if I heard someone hasn't played it before, I would probably bring it up.
So what you're saying is that if you heard they've never played the game before, you'd be like, hey, let's fucking do it?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright. That's a pretty good answer. I would almost completely agree with you there.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't play this game before.
Right.
And when we were sitting down to get the footage, you had brought that up. It's like, I've never actually played this game before. And I'm like, oh, man! And that made it even more fun for me, knowing that this is your first experience with this.
Yeah, exactly. But you wouldn't go around saying, have you played Streets of Rage?
Getting in the... Hey! You! Man across the street!
No, I'll be right the f over then!
Hold on! Let me unplug my Genesis! Where do you live? That's pretty... Yeah, I would agree. Final thoughts on the game. Now, I know you have something to say about a couple of the enemies.
Yeah.
Oh, the 90s.
Well, there's a lot of silliness in the game. I think it was stage 2 or 3. You get to the end, and there's a wrestler for a boss. And,
Not
okay.
just one, two.
It's 2012, and if you haven't played the game, or if you're an older person like some of us, you can understand why. It's 1991, right?
Yes, it was 1991 the game came out, yes.
And wrestling was a pretty big deal, so I guess it made sense.
That was back when people thought it was real.
But I'm like, really? A pro wrestler is just kind of wandering around a burning building?
Listen here, Para. They're part of the gang, and that was what they rolled.
Right, it's how they got street cred.
Yeah.
So I found that kind of...
weapons, I got these guns.
I found that kind of silly, but I guess that made the game, the silliness in it.
Oh yeah, there's fat guys that blow fire out of their mouths.
But also, towards the end, they started to rehash the game models, the player models, excuse me.
At one point, there was actually, if you remember, they actually used the female player model.
Yeah.
As the boss.
Where I got confused at one point, I think I hit you a couple times.
I don't think you were confused. I think you're just like, I'm gonna use this as an excuse to beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, so there was some signs of laziness, I believe, in the development of the game.
I wouldn't even say, I would disagree saying it's laziness, and I would say it was restrictions to the cartridge and the memory that was available on the cartridge. Because it doesn't take hardly any memory to change a color.
Okay, I'll go with that then.
Because, really, the model... I'm pretty sure the pixels are all numbered behind the scenes, and when it needs these pixels to be a different color, it can just swap to a different color palette for that pixel. So I would almost say it was a restriction of the times more than laziness.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Another point was the friendly fire. I thought it was fun as hell, but... there are probably people out there who would get turned off by that, and I think that should have been an option, which it wasn't, to turn off friendly fire.
That's true. I would agree with that too, but I guess some of the mechanics in it, where like you could grab your friend and throw them and they could do kicks and stuff, that was pretty cool. I forgot about that until towards the end.
And that one scene where I kept grabbing you in very awkward positions.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And then
good times.
And this section should be called reminiscing. I grabbed that one enemy near the pit and I flipped over him to do my normal
oh my
back
god, that
slam,
was great.
And I just fell into the hole with him. Yeah, I would say that this game, one of the best parts, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree with me, one of the top things about this game was the music.
Oh my god, I love the music.
Like,
Loved it.
I was telling you about the game, and then the music kind of kicked on behind me, and you were just like, oh my god!
Yeah, I mean, you don't expect that from a Genesis game in 91. It's like, holy shit, what is this?
Oh, I know, and I don't know if you noticed, there's an actual credit for the music guy right on the main menu, like right where it says push start, says like copyright Genesis or whatever, and then under it, it has the guy who did the music on the main page. Just music. So he should be proud of that music because it was really well done. And hopefully, when I do get around to doing Streets of Rage 2, I hope you're there because Streets of Rage 2 has awesome music as well.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be there.
Alright, thanks Paranoia.
Well, of course.
I really enjoyed playing Streets of Rage with you, and I hope that at some point we can do some more together.
And I enjoyed hitting you in the face with a bat.
I know you friggin' did. That's it!
Don't forget to check us out at www.basementkings.com. And we're also on facebook.com/basementkings. And don't forget to subscribe.
Now, if you guys have any games you want to see me and my friends cover, send your suggestions to this email that's up here right now, up on the screen, and have the subject co-op, CO-OP, and I'll see you guys on the next campaign. BAM! BasementKings.com